I want you to sit back for a moment and really think about what just happened, because this isn't just another headline, this is history in the making. For months, critics, commentators, and even some of his own supporters whispered the same thing over and over again. Mark Carney is just a polished politician who won't dare to stand up to Donald Trump. That he'd play it safe, smile at the cameras, and quietly nod along to whatever Washington demanded. But today, Carney has shattered that image. Today, he proved loudly, clearly, and in front of the world that he is no Trump puppet. Now, let me walk you through this, because it didn't just happen in a vacuum. This has been building for weeks. Every single move Trump has made toward Canada, whether it's threats over trade, military alliances, or even energy deals, has been a test. A test to see if Carney would bend. A test to see if Ottawa would once again roll over, like so many critics claimed Canada had done in the past. But what unfolded today wasn't just resistance. It was a calculated, deliberate, and fiery pushback that caught everyone off guard. Here's the backdrop. Trump, confident as ever, had been pressing Canada to align more tightly with American foreign policy in the Middle East. He wanted Carney to echo his exact words, to follow the script, to essentially act as Washington's mouthpiece on the global stage. And let's be honest, many expected Carney to give in. After all, Trump's reputation for cornering allies, for twisting arms behind closed doors, is legendary. But instead of nodding, instead of parroting lines, Carney did something extraordinary. He drew a line. In front of cameras, in front of global media, Carney took the podium and made it clear, Canada is not an extension of the United States. Canada has its own voice, its own policies, and its own direction. And the way he delivered it, calm, firm, and razor-sharp, left the room in stunned silence. You could almost feel the oxygen leave the air. It wasn't bombastic, it wasn't reckless, it was strategic. Carney knew exactly what he was doing. Think about the risk here. Going toe-to-toe with Donald Trump is not something many world leaders attempt lightly. Trump thrives on confrontation. He feeds off dominance. Most leaders avoid direct defiance because they know what comes next: tariffs, insults, late-night social media blasts that ripple through markets and shake alliances. But Carney chose to walk into that storm, and not with hesitation. With confidence. With precision. With a message crafted to resonate not only with Canadians, but with the entire international community. And this is where the story gets even more gripping. Sources close to Ottawa say Trump had been expecting a full show of loyalty. His aides had been briefed. They thought Carney was on side. But the reality? Carney blindsided them. He rejected key U.S. demands, unveiled a bold Canadian strategy that prioritizes national independence, and delivered it with such force that even seasoned Washington insiders were left scrambling. The question on everyone's lips now is simple: what happens next? Because let's be clear, folks, this isn't just about one speech. This isn't just about diplomatic posturing. This is about the future balance of power between Ottawa and Washington. If Carney's words stand, if Canada really begins charting its own independent course under his leadership, then everything changes. Trade negotiations change. Military commitments change. Energy projects change. The entire foundation of the Canada-U.S. relationship suddenly looks different. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Is this sustainable? Can Carney really keep this up against the full weight of Trump's pressure machine? And that's where the suspense kicks in. Because this could go one of two ways. Either Carney's defiance becomes the defining moment of his premiership, a rallying cry for a more assertive Canada that finally steps out of Washington's shadow, or it could spark a brutal confrontation that tests the country's economy, its alliances, and its unity like never before. Let's not forget, Canada relies heavily on trade with the United States. A single tariff, a single border disruption, could ripple across industries overnight. Trump knows that. He has wielded that power before, and he could do it again. But here's the twist: Carney seems ready for it. He seems prepared not only to absorb the blow, but to use it as fuel to push Canada even further towards self-reliance. That's not just politics, that's strategy. And here's where the genius of Carney's move becomes clear. By standing up publicly, by showing the world he's no Trump puppet, He has also signaled to other nations that Canada is open for business, independent business. European allies, Asian partners, even countries in the Middle East are now watching closely. They see a Canada that isn't tethered, a Canada that's willing to speak its mind. That opens doors, that creates leverage, and that reshapes alliances in ways that will echo for years. But make no mistake, Trump won't let this slide quietly. He's already known for his retaliatory style, and insiders are buzzing that his team is preparing a countermove. Will it be economic pressure? Will it be a sharp rebuke in the media? Or will it be something even more aggressive, perhaps a sudden shift in military cooperation? The suspense right now is electric because nobody knows exactly how far Trump is willing to go to reassert dominance, and nobody knows how far Carney is willing to push back. And that's why this moment feels so historic. For the first time in years, Canada's leader isn't just responding to Washington, he's shaping the narrative himself. He's putting Trump on the defensive. And whether you agree with Carney's politics or not, you have to admit, that takes guts. That takes vision. And that takes a willingness to risk it all for the sake of proving that Canada won't be treated as anyone's puppet. So, as we watch this story unfold, I want you to keep this in mind. This isn't over. This is just the beginning. The clash between Carney and Trump is about to set the tone for Canada, U.S. relations for years to come. Will it spark a new era of independence? Or will it spiral into confrontation? That's the question. And the answer is coming, faster than anyone expected. Stick with me, because we're going to follow this every step of the way. The suspense is only growing, the stakes are rising, and history is unfolding before our eyes. And if you're as locked into this story as I am, don't forget to hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe so you don't miss the next update, because trust me, the next chapter in this Carney, Trump showdown is coming, and you're going to want to see it the moment it breaks.